Bam, Leute, da sind wir wieder bei Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Letztes Mal haben wir eine Trial Session abgeschlossen, wobei nicht wirklich abgeschlossen, denn wir haben nur die erste Hälfte durchgenudelt. Es gab in der letzten Folge eine 30-minütige Pause, weil wir ein Stück Stoff gefunden haben in einem Foto, das im Auspuff von Edgeworths Auto drin steckte. Und weil Lana im Telefonat diesen Auspuff erwähnt hat, wurde entschieden, dass es vielleicht noch ein wichtiges Beweisstück sein könnte, und deswegen wird das jetzt in diesem Moment gerade untersucht, was das denn sein könnte. Und der Trial ist noch nicht vorbei, der Trial-Tag, denn es geht jetzt dann gleich weiter. Von daher sind wir immer noch in der Defendant Lobby Number 2. Zusammen mit Emma. Mr. Wright? What? Are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake, about to reach the surface. But no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there. Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Her only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner. They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a young'un, at least. Officer Marshall! Thought I'd come take a look-see at how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. We've got the home ranch locked down tighter than fort in enemy territory. That hard to slip out, huh? What's going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have been really on edge. Yet you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing, I didn't have anything to do with scarves. It wasn't even, she wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. No, don't that just beat all? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw her that day too. She was wearing a red muffler. Ja, tatsächlich. Da am Hals hat sie was. What? At the award ceremony in the afternoon. I should have seen it too, I reckon. What does that mean? The photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. So, Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it stakes us, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Oh oui. Leider nicht. Hätte ich jetzt auch gerne. Zurück im Courtroom Number 9. Da sind wir wieder. I'd like to resume. What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Oh. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple. You're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused, you're doubled over. Your back is bent. It can't be. This can't happen. I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well then, I believe it is time we continued with this trial. During our recess, I had questions that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable. Seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me? Knock knock? Who's there? Hi? Plötzlich spielt die Orgel im Hintergrund. Man kennt. What's with this guy? Strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he? Und vor allem sagt er nix. Oh, it's you. Schicke Brillengläser. Oh, sorry I'm late, Archie. The roads were packed, it's just me. Long time no see, hey Archie, how have been? Swim much these days? Hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy's missy, Archie, my boy. You have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Archie? Seems to be his nickname for the judge. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? Aha, so you're Wright, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Thanks. So sorry about our little Worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we shall go swimming together sometimes, surely. Little Worthy? Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police? Ach so. Der Polizeichef. Alles klar. Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. Und er ist weird. Name's Gant, Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's Murphy, and look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So, Miss Starr wasn't just seeing things. The crime occurred. This guy really was wearing that muffler. But to think that it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. On little Murphy's car, no less. Yeah? It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth. How could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature is there. Miles Edgeworth. That's not fair. On the day of the crime I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss of words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. The court accepts this new evidence. But I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure. I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. the blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push that switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore. Come on, just hurry up and open it. Okay, okay. Also, ich darf nicht selber. Er muss den langen Weg durch die ganzen Beweisstücke gehen. Warum haben wir das andere Foto eigentlich nicht? Egal. Erstmal will ich mir das angucken. There's a small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL92. What does that mean? Well, I've heard something similar. DL6 of DL6 incident fame. But it's strange. Huh? What is? I'm not certain, but I get the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. Letters like this, or letters that looked a lot like this somehow. Das ist ein anderer Fall, scheinbar. Wie der DL6-Fall. Wham! Ah, don't scare me like that! I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade, the tip is broken off. And this dark red stain, blood? Switchblade knife found at the crime scene, wrapped in the defendant's muffler. Small tag attached. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us? About the split between the prosecutors and the police, and this knife. Sure thing, not a problem. Not even a little one, really. Department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We were in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush-hush information, RG. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second. You said 5:15? That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order! Anyway, we at the top department were all flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department situation. Well, Mr. Wright? 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. Chance of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Ja, wir talken immerhin zum Polizeichef, ja, nicht unfreundlich werden hier. So, this knife is special, but I can't say how. Excuse me, special? Hard to come by this particular knife anywhere else. Might that special thing be this little tag? Oh, sorry, Ryder, but I can't say that now, not that. We've established that the knife in Goodman's chest was this knife. Now, why was there another knife at the scene of the crime? That's quite a mystery. And, like a mystery, it's wrapped in something, a muffler. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection, this knife and Goodman. Okay. This knife was found at the scene of the crime. I think that makes it connected to the case, don't you? See, there's a lot of things that go on at the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Righto. Maybe there's something about the knife that would give us a clue. Let's examine that knife while we can, righto? Evidence that links this knife to Detective Goodman. Ja, also wir haben halt nur den Tag, ne? SL92. I think perhaps the pieces are falling into place. I should try presenting the piece of evidence that's had me stumped all this time. Okay. So, how are things down at the department? Wait, ich mache immer erstmal weiter hier. That was a bad day for the department. Ja. Something happened at the police department too, huh? You got a good look in your eyes there, right, oh my boy. Sharp, hungry. So, something did happen. And why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand you were busy. What with Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day? Detective was killed. On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact! Surprising, isn't it, Archie? I'm at a loss of words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, righto? I suppose I could help, if you help me by giving me data on your case. Oh, good one. That kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. Okay. Where the victim was found. How the victim was killed. When the victim died. Wir wissen ja schon, wann das Victim gestorben ist, hat er ja gesagt, ne? 5:15. Also, wobei, ja, nicht unbedingt gestorben. Dann war Time of the Crime, aber nicht unbedingt Time of Death. How? How it was killed? Where was it found? Ich würde eins von den beiden nehmen. Wie wurde er umgebracht? Oder wo wurde er umgebracht? Ich würde mal auf wie tippen. Well, how was the detective killed? How was he killed? No, that's the interesting part. It was what we in the force call stabbing with a knife. A knife? That's exactly the same as Detective Goodman. That's the spirit, we're cooking now! But you know, that's not the only thing that was exactly the same. What do you mean? There were more similarities between the two cases than the cause of death. Seems like I'm going to have to press this a bit harder. Time of the crime, 5:15, ja. Kann ich eigentlich das andere nochmal pressen? Dann kann ich das andere. Probiere ich nachher mal aus. Scary Coincidence, ja. 5:15? But that's when Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's office place, and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? This is just my gut feeling, but I'd say there's a 0.001% chance of that happening. Not helping, Emma. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident. It's not officially linked. Okay. How can he say there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything. Please, Rido. You understand? Try to understand, Rido. Well, if you can prove there is a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together? Whatever it is, I'd better find it and get to the bottom of this. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15, one at the prosecutor's office and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife! What was he doing there? I'd better check this knife out. Ja, haben wir schon, ja. So, genau, das wollte ich nochmal drücken und gucken, ob wir mehr Infos kriegen. Das haben wir schon, ja. Sharp. Mhm. Bla bla bla, bla bla bla. Well, what happened? Achso, war das nicht das? War es hier vielleicht? Genau. Ja, ja, bla bla bla. Ja, just arrested. Ja, ja. Hier ist der Deal. Only one thing. Okay, dann will ich noch, where the victim was found. Das will ich noch wissen. So, tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found. But I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room? You would know about the evidence room, would you, Ryder? I can't say I've heard of it. I guess I should ask again once I learn a bit more about this evidence room. There's something stranger about this than the place where the body was found. Okay, dann ich drücke einfach nur der Vollständigkeit halber. Das letzte auch noch. Weil ich glaube, das ist das Uninteressanteste, weil das haben wir eigentlich schon diskutiert. So, ja, bla bla bla. When the victim died. So, when did the murder at the police department occur? Oh, that's a sharp question, Ryder. Very sharp. Well, my boy, you're gonna love this. Achso, ja, wow. Okay. Also, wir müssen einerseits das linken. Wir müssen beweisen, dass es das eine mit dem anderen zu tun hat. Und wir müssen scheinbar mehr über diesen Evidence Room erfahren, damit wir da weiter pressen können, hat Phoenix vorhin gesagt. Okay. Wie verlinken wir die beiden Fälle? Mit dem Messer, ne? Also das Messer war ja... Dingens... Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. Genau. Also es hat ja den SL9-2 Tag. Es hat Blut. Und sonst nix. Okay. Aha. Goodman's note. A victim's memo found in the car trunk. 675. 12.2. Aber, wenn man es umdreht, dann heißt es SL9. 1221. 221, nicht 12. Von daher, das würde ich sagen, ist eine Connection. Würde ich meinen. Wait a second. Ah, at last, an honest to goodness objection. This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Ah, haha, an honest to goodness, what do you mean? From Archie, this is great. Er enjoy das ein bisschen zu sehr, glaube ich. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. And this is important. Why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7S 12.2. Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around, and what do you get? Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing that is written on the knife's tag. Order, order! Well, Chief! Ups, ich wollte nicht meinen Pin untersuchen. Ah, well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto! I win? What game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. Okay. So, this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say. Was it in fact a murder weapon? Nice, nice, nice! Good show, little Worthy. It was a murder happen as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So, this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworths' car. Hard to think hard to think there isn't a connection there. Ach, jetzt haben wir ein bisschen was über den Evidence Room erfahren. Das heißt, jetzt können wir vielleicht etwas darüber ausfragen. Das heißt, wir drücken hier nochmal. Ja, das kennen wir alles. Bla bla bla. Ich will die Frage nochmal stellen. Und zwar where? Dann kriegen wir wieder den Evidence Room. So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say the crime took place in the evidence room of the police department. The evidence room? Wait a second. I've heard of that. The evidence room? Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? Ja, haben wir gerade gehört. There's the connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go down, to go to town on this case. With the link between two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Ja, dann muss ich das pressen, ne? Chief, the defense position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. You don't say. Well, out of it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out of it, Mr. Wright. The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number of the knife's evidence tag. And we also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. Starrt wieder. You two make a good pair. Took my men 2 days to find out what you deducted right here. Deduced. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet at all. Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? 2 detectives were killed at 5:15. One at the prosecutor... Ah ja, oh gut, ich habe aus Versehen A gedrückt. Ja, das haben wir schon gehört. So. Nein! Ah! Ja, ja, genau. 1 weiter, noch 1 weiter, noch 1 weiter. Bam. If you're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Ah, well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh well, I guess I might as well try to get what I can out of him. The victim's division, the victim's ID number, the victim's gender. Ja, als ob er der Victims ID-Number rausgeben würde. Ich meine, wir haben eine ID-Number, und zwar die von Goodman. Gender, ja, wird uns halt nicht viel sagen. Dann ist er halt männlich oder weiblich, whatever. Division. Ja, mit den Divisions haben wir eigentlich nichts am Hut, also können wir nichts anfangen mit der Information. Und daher, wir fragen einfach mal nach der ID-Number. Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is 5842189. Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. I can't do it. You didn't even get the first number right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? ID now of the victim at the police department, 5842189. Well... Zufall? I think this tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning? It has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's see what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department. Tells you something? What does it tell you? Es ist Detective Goodman. Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. No, it's just... I got confused. This is news. Huh? Just come out of it, both guns blazing, like you always do. The police department, the prosecutor's office, 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh, is it yours? No, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Ryder. Personal IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189. And this means what exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82... I've forgotten. We didn't even get the first number right again. The number the chief of police gave us was... yeah, das da. Wait a second, right? What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, sharp as attack, right? Oh, sharp as attack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet a detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department, in the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. So what you're saying is the same person was killed at the same time, and in a completely different location? Order, order, order! Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case. Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error? Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours. What? How? They're... We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our officer Meekings who brought you the news. Oh, nein. Der Arme. Officer Meekings? Mr. Wright, where have you heard that name before? Wait, das war der... Excuse me, but Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premise? Oh, I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got a report, sir. You don't mean him. According to Meekings, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me, he said that report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on the top of the report. Ugh! Why did your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error, a gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But, sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then I... No such luck this time, Worthy, or should I say unworthy. What? Now, what was the second rule of evidence law, Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, well, it's, Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on the list. So, what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. The connection was just proven by Wright over here. Good job, Wright, my boy! Huh? Oh, I was just doing my job. No. No! It seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know, you're going through a tough time, Worthy. What with all those rumors? You're in the defendant's chair just this past December. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened, if it's the last thing I do. You better get results this time, really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I'll grant one further day, as the prosecution has requested. Would that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned. To be continued. Okay. Spicy! You fucked up, Edgeworth. Der arme Officer Meekings. Recht ungünstig, würde ich meinen. Da hat Edgeworths einiges übersehen und jetzt wird er hoffentlich keinen allzu großen Preis bezahlen. Unser AG Boy. Damon Gant, der Polizeichef, haben wir kennengelernt. Und wir haben 2 Detectives, also beziehungsweise einen Detective, Bruce Goodman, der sowohl bei uns als auch beim Police Department ermordet wurde. Zur selben Zeit. Strange. Wie auch immer das weitergeht, Leute, werden wir vielleicht im nächsten Part erfahren. Ja, bleibt gespannt. Ich bin es auch. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Diesmal eine kürzere Folge als die zuvor. Ist ja auch mal nett. Ja, dann sehen wir uns beim nächsten Part wieder. Bei der zweiten Tag der Investigation. Bis dahin. Macht's gut, Leute. Und tschö.